Our planet is absolutely vast. And, even though science has mapped out the highest peaks and the deepest trenches, there are still these hidden corners of the globe that completely defy logic. We're talking about places full of what you might call rahasya, these deep, impenetrable mysteries, and ajuba, wonders that literally leave you speechless. These are spots where it honestly feels like you've just stepped out of our reality and straight into another dimension entirely. So it really makes you wonder, what actually happens when the fundamental laws of nature just seem to stop working? When local legends and ancient myths suddenly start looking like the only logical explanation? Keep that in the back of your mind as we take a deep dive into 7 of the world's most baffling locations. Deep mysteries of water. We're kicking things off by plunging more than 100 feet below the surface of a freezing, pitch-black lake in China, because down in those depths, sleeping beneath the waves in Xicheng, is an entire city that history almost completely forgot. The history of this place, they call it the Atlantis of the East, is just fascinating. Xicheng was built way back during the Eastern Han Dynasty, so between 25 and 200 AD. It was this massive, bustling trade center. But then, in the 1970s, the government built a hydroelectric dam, and they flooded the entire valley. In literally a single night, a city that housed up to 500,000 people was just swallowed up by the water. But here's the crazy part. When divers recently went down there, they were shocked. It wasn't some crumbled ruin. It was perfectly preserved. We're talking 5 massive city gates, 265 intricate archways, and 0 corrosion. Now, you'd probably expect a sunken ruin like that to just be, dead stone. But modern divers are reporting something entirely different. They claim they actually feel the strange fog-like energy surrounding these pristine statues. And even wilder, some of them report hearing the unmistakable sound of ringing bells echoing right through the water, almost like the ancient temples are still active down there. It's like time just flat out refused to touch this place. Minus 10 degrees Celsius. All right, from submerged cities, let's transition over to the punishing extremes of Antarctica. In a landscape where the freezing wind can literally turn a human face to stone, this is the exact temperature of one very specific glacier. Now, at minus 10, water should absolutely be rock-solid ice, but at a place called Blood Falls, liquid just pours right out of it. So, what's really going on here? Well, science tells us that this isn't actually blood. It's an iron-rich, subglacial lake that's been trapped down there, completely isolated without sunlight or oxygen for millions of years. NASA actually thinks this hidden ecosystem could show us how life might survive on Mars. But then you have the local legends. When that dark Antarctic wind starts howling, explorers have reported hearing a deep, gurgling voice coming from the falls. It genuinely makes them feel like this massive crimson glacier is breathing in the dark. Nature challenging science. Okay, we've looked at water, but now we're going to visit a few places where gravity and physics themselves seem to just warp and break down. And hey, we don't even have to go to the ends of the earth for this first one. We're starting right in the dense woods of Minnesota. This is the Devil's Kettle on the Brule River. And it's wild because the river perfectly splits right in two. One half flows down like a totally normal waterfall, but the other half, it vanishes into this massive hole in the rock. Researchers have tried everything to figure out where it goes. They've poured brightly colored dye down there, dropped ping pong balls, even tossed in high-tech GPS trackers. The result? Absolutely nothing. Not a single item has ever popped out into a lake or stream. So, is it just an undiscovered lava tube? Or, as some people actually suggest, is it a natural dimensional portal where matter just ceases to exist in our world? 400. Let's jump across the globe to Poland's West Pomerania region. That is the exact number of pine trees in what's known as the Crooked Forest. And guys, they aren't just slightly leaning. Every single one of these 400 trees is bizarrely bent at a perfect 90-degree angle right at the base. And even weirder, every single one points precisely north. So how in the world does an entire grove of trees naturally grow into right angles? Well, we've got 3 main theories here. Some argue it was intentional human bending back in the 1930s to make curved wood for boats. But if that's true, why is it only these 400 trees? And why are they so perfectly uniform? It just doesn't quite add up. The second theory points to some sort of strange gravitational or magnetic anomaly that physically warps the saplings. But the most haunting explanation comes from local whispers. They claim this area was once an ancient, enchanted energy field, Locals even report seeing strange shadow figures roaming through these twisted, perfectly symmetrical woods at night. Doors to another world. All right, we are really escalating the mystery now. We're traveling deep into South America to look at a couple of locations that seem to serve as literal gateways to the absolute unknown. 1.2 billion. Take a second to really process that staggering number. 1.2 billion years. That is the estimated age of Mount Roraima, which sits right on the border of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana. It is this mind-bendingly ancient flat-top plateau that shoots straight up out of the earth like a giant stone table. The ecosystem up there is so isolated and so completely alien that it actually inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to write his famous novel, The Lost World. The reality is, scientists are totally baffled by it. The prehistoric plants and animals living up there in the perpetual mist, you won't find them anywhere else on the entire planet. But if you ask the local tribes, Mount Roraima is an ancient celestial kingdom. Their myth says that when a massive divine flood wiped out the earth, this plateau was the only thing left standing above the water, acting as this eternal bridge between heaven and earth. Sticking with this theme of gateways, we're heading down to Peru to a solid rock face known as Hayu Marca, or the Gate of the Gods. It's this massive, perfectly carved rectangular door on the side of a mountain that just leads into solid stone. There's no actual entrance, it doesn't open, but ancient lore tells a very specific story. An Incan priest named Amaru Meru was fleeing Spanish conquerors with a sacred golden disc. Legend says he placed that disc into a small depression carved in the stone door. A blinding blue light flashed, the solid rock opened up, and he stepped right through, vanishing forever. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, that's just a really cool myth. But what's truly terrifying is what happens there today. Modern travelers who visit the Gate of the Gods and actually touch the stone report these intense electrical energy surges pulsing right through their bodies. During lightning storms, people have documented a distinct blue glow radiating from the rock itself. Some visitors even report sudden, overwhelming visions of bright lights and ancient giants. It seriously makes you wonder, are we staring at a dormant piece of interdimensional technology here? Earth's opening underworld. For our final destination, we are heading to the freezing, desolate expanses of Siberia, a place where the Earth is literally splitting wide open, revealing an underworld that maybe we were never meant to see. Let's look at the timeline of the Batagaika Crater. Because, unfortunately, this one actually started with us. Massive deforestation in the 1960s completely stripped away the ground's natural insulation. Without those trees, the ancient Siberian permafrost just started to melt. Fast forward to today, and that melting has triggered a catastrophic mega slump. It's now a massive sinkhole over a kilometer long. But here's the fascinating part. It's acting like a literal time machine. As the Earth tears open, scientists are uncovering perfectly preserved forests and the bones of woolly mammoths that have been hidden away for millions of years. But while scientists are thrilled about this geological time capsule, the local Yakut people see something vastly different. They literally call this expanding pit the door to hell. Locals are terrified to go anywhere near it. They claim you can hear the screams of souls echoing from deep within the earth. And honestly, as that permafrost shifts and the ice violently cracks, there are these unexplainable, terrifying groaning sounds that regularly boom right out of the depths of the crater. And here is the absolute most terrifying detail about the Batagaika Crater, 20. This sinkhole is not just sitting there. It is actively expanding by up to 20 meters every single year. Let that sink in for a second. It's like a giant, creeping, open wound on the face of the planet, and it's getting larger and deeper with every passing day, threatening to just swallow the entire landscape whole. So, what does this all mean? From perfectly preserved underwater cities and freezing blood-red waterfalls, to impossibly bent forests and gateways carved right into solid rock? Are we just looking at rare geological anomalies that science is eventually going to figure out? Or is the Earth hiding ancient technologies, dimensional portals, and deep-seated secrets that humanity just isn't ready for yet? I'm going to leave that up to you to decide. Keep questioning everything you see, stay curious, and thanks for exploring with us today.